I promised to transfer schools with my childhood friend who was being bullied, but she backed out the day before we were supposed to make it official. Her best friend teased her. "Wow, Kathy, you really pulled it off. Pretending to be bullied all this time just to get rid of Lucas. But he's your childhood friend. Are you sure you want to send him to a new school all by himself?" Kathy's voice was flat. "It's just another school in the same city. How far can it be? Besides, I was getting sick of him clinging to me all the time. This is perfect." I stood outside the door for a long time that day before finally turning and walking away. But on my transfer application, I changed Northwood High to the overseas prep school my parents had wanted me to attend. Everyone seemed to forget that she and I were always worlds apart. The moment I heard the truth, my heart pounded in my chest. For the past month, Kathy had been targeted, jumped by groups, framed for things she didn't do. The list was endless. I did everything I could to protect her, but I couldn't always be there. When I couldn't take it anymore, I suggested we transfer. At the time, she had just had ice water thrown on her. Her beautiful face was pale and miserable. She grabbed my hand helplessly. "Lucas, I'm scared to go to a new place alone. Kathy and I were childhood friends. We'd walked to and from school together since kindergarten. A routine that hadn't changed in over a decade. And on top of that, I was secretly in love with her. So, in a moment of weakness, I promised her, 'Don't be afraid. Wherever you go, I'll go with you.' But now I knew the truth. It was all an elaborate act to get me to leave. I couldn't help but wonder, did Kathy hate me that much? The voices inside the private room continued. "Lucas is completely devoted to you. Aren't you afraid he'll fall for someone else if you send him to another school?" "Him?" Kathy scoffed as if she'd just heard the funniest joke in the world. "He'd step in front of a gang for me. He wouldn't back down even when he was getting beaten black and blue. You think he's going to have a change of heart?" Someone else muttered, "But what if? Lucas doesn't exactly seem like a pushover." Kathy's tone was lazy. "There is no what if. Westwood Prep is full of rich girls. Have you ever seen him give any of them the time of day?" Her voice dripped with contempt. "All he does is follow me around. Even a puppy isn't that clingy." A wave of harsh laughter erupted from the room, feeling like a slap across my face. I wanted to leave, but my feet were rooted to the spot, forcing me to listen, forcing me to feel the pain. Someone marveled. "I've never seen a girl push away a guy who's into her like this. Girl, I gotta hand it to you. But if you don't like Lucas being so clingy, why not just tell him? He doesn't seem like the type to cause a scene." Kathy clicked her tongue, her patience wearing thin. "Lucas is too intense. If I told him straight up, getting him to leave wouldn't be so easy." Her tone shifted. "Besides, Ethan gets all insecure and sad whenever he sees him. He only feels better when I'm around. For Ethan's sake, this was the only way. Lucas will just have to be put out for a little while." As soon as she said it, everyone understood. Thinking back, Kathy started pretending to be bullied just a week after Ethan transferred to Westwood Prep. Someone laughed. "You work fast, girl. That gentle, cute new kid transfers in and you've already got your eyes on him? I get it, though. Ethan is so handsome and thoughtful, and he has such a sweet personality. It's only natural for a girl to be drawn to him. Not like Lucas. He's so cold. Not to mention that icy look on his face that pushes everyone away. It doesn't matter how good-looking he is." The casual critiques of me washed over me in waves from inside the room. And Kathy, the girl I had quietly loved for years, didn't stop them. She didn't argue. In fact, she even agreed with them from time to time. Standing outside the door, my heart sank into a dark, empty abyss, aching with a dull, suffocating pain. For a second, I wanted to throw open the door and scream at her. I wanted to ask her why she lied to me. I wanted to ask if she felt even a flicker of guilt or pity watching me get beat up trying to protect her. I wanted to ask her if she ever thought about our decade-long friendship while she was doing all of this. But in the end, my mother's words echoed in my head. "Don't make things unnecessarily complicated. People don't just go bad overnight." I turned and walked away from that room. The sharp, piercing pain was a delayed reaction. I shouldn't have been this upset. It was just a betrayal by a close friend. No big deal. But Kathy was the one who decided to cross that line first. The day we decided to transfer, she dragged me to a bar to celebrate our escape. The dim, hazy lights swirled around us. I looked at the girl I had secretly loved for years and felt a little dazed. So when she leaned in and kissed me, I didn't pull away. Years of suppressed feelings erupted all at once. Overwhelmed, I couldn't stop myself from asking, "Kathy, what are we now?" She gave my forehead another affectionate kiss. Silly, what else would we be? Cheers erupted in the room, the atmosphere electric, just like the passion I felt. I never imagined that just 2 days later, I'd hear Kathy herself shatter my one-sided dream. I managed to smile, but my eyes couldn't help but turn red. So that vague, non-answer of hers, that was just another lie to get rid of me faster for Ethan's sake. Wasn't it? The wind chimes in my bedroom tinkled, slowly drying my tears. My broken heart began to piece itself back together. Kathy had it all wrong. She was just the Vance's illegitimate daughter. I was the sole heir of the Kane family. We really shouldn't have been so close, because we were never a match. I clenched my fist, crumpling the transfer application in my hand. The ink smeared, staining the paper. But it didn't matter. This one was ruined, I'd just get a clean one. The Kanes always have a backup plan. I printed a new form. But when I got to the line for the destination school, I called my mother. "Mom, you mentioned you wanted me to study abroad. Which high school was that again?" "That's right. I'll be going alone." The wind chimes in my room chimed, a crisp, pleasant sound, as if celebrating for me. I closed my eyes, and this time, it wasn't Kathy's face I saw. It was a woman who looked a bit like Kathy but was far more stunning. She smiled at me, her expression as confident and serious as it was 2 years ago. "Lucas Kane, sooner or later you're gonna give up on Kathy and choose me." Back then I thought she was joking. Now I repeated it to myself in my head. "Kathy, I'm really done with you." After filling out the new application, I let out a long breath, a sense of calm finally settling over me. Just then, there was a knock on my bedroom door. I froze. I've always lived in this house alone. The only other person who knows the code would be. I opened the door, and sure enough, there was Kathy. Her voice was as gentle as always. "Lucas, you haven't been around. I got worried, so my friends and I came to check on you." I tried to keep my voice steady. "My stomach's been bothering me. I'm not up for it." I was about to ask them to leave when I caught an unexpected figure out of the corner of my eye. Ethan stood there, rail thin, next to Kathy. He flinched the moment our eyes met. Kathy, ever watchful of his every move, immediately shielded him behind her. "Lucas, you're scaring him." There it was again. Ethan always acted so fragile, like he was afraid I'd hurt him, making me out to be some kind of monster. But I hadn't done a thing. My expression hardened. "I've told you before, I don't like other people in my house." Kathy frowned, annoyed. "Ethan's not an outsider. Besides, he only came because he was worried about you." Before I could argue, Ethan spoke up. "Lucas, I'm sorry. I know you've always looked down on me, but I just wanted to see if you were okay." His voice trembled as he added, "I promise I won't make a mess." Hearing that, Kathy's brow furrowed, and she shot me a disapproving look. "Lucas, Ethan may not have money, but he's not as pathetic as you think. The way you're treating him, I'm really disappointed in you." Ethan cautiously tugged on Kathy's sleeve, playing the part of the bigger person. "Kathy, it's fine, really. Please don't fight with Lucas because of me." He sniffled, forcing a smile that was both hurt and defiant. "After all, Lucas said you two are childhood friends. How could I ever compare to that?" "What are you talking about? You're one of a kind." Kathy put a comforting hand on Ethan's shoulder, her voice soft and soothing. Then she turned back to me, her face like ice. "Ethan's not feeling well. I'm gonna take him home. You should take a good long look at yourself. And don't forget to get that transfer form stamped." I did take a good long look at myself and my terrible judgment. Then I walked over and changed the security code on my front gate. The knot of anger in my chest finally loosened, just for a moment. The next day, I took the new application to school to get it stamped. As I watched the bright red seal, marking my departure, get pressed firmly onto the paper. My heart felt strangely empty for a second. I stood there for a moment, stunned, until someone blocked my path. Kathy was frowning. "Lucas, did you change the code to your gate? I came back to find you right after I took Ethan home yesterday, but I couldn't get the gate to open." I cut her off. "Yeah, I changed it." She seemed annoyed, asking casually as if nothing had happened. "What's the new code, so I can get in?" "Don't worry about it," I said calmly. "I won't be living there after I transfer." Kathy looked at the folded application in my hand as if just remembering. "Oh, I totally forgot about that. Don't worry, Lucas. I'll come get mine stamped tomorrow." Walking and talking with Kathy like this had become a rare occasion ever since Ethan showed up at Westwood. I closed my eyes, indulging a final moment of reluctance, and tested the waters. "Between us, you know you can always count on me." Kathy was silent for a long time before she suddenly said, "Lucas, actually, Just then, Ethan appeared behind her, holding a stack of notebooks. He complained playfully, "Kathy, I thought you were going to help me study. Where'd you disappear to?" He handed the notebooks to her. "I saw the tutoring schedule you made for me goes 2 months out, so I got all the materials ready." He winked. "You don't mind that I took a peek, do you, Kathy?" "Of course not." Kathy's smile was a little strained. She glanced at me guiltily. When she saw I had no reaction, she actually looked a little disappointed. "So, while you were pushing me away, you were already planning a future with someone else. A future that never included me." I struggled to keep a straight face, but a bitter taste, rich and dark like wine, spread through me. I dug my nails into my palm, forcing myself back to reality. "I'll let you two talk. I'm heading out." Ethan acted as if he'd just noticed me, jumping back in exaggerated surprise.
Hey, Lucas.
"Are you upset that I'm studying with Kathy? It's just, I come from a poor family. I don't have the same resources you do." As he spoke, he started to choke up again. I had no interest in playing along with his act. "Move," I said coldly. The flicker of guilt in Kathy's eyes vanished. She grabbed my wrist, her voice laced with anger. "Lucas, what kind of tone is that?" She dragged me in front of Ethan and yelled, "Apologize to him." The last peaceful corner of my heart crumbled into dust. This time, I didn't hesitate. I raised my hand and slapped Kathy hard across the face. "Kathy, you're the one who should be apologizing. Not to him, to me." I went through all the things Kathy had given me over the past decade, one by one. This watch was her gift for my 18th birthday. Not long after I wore it to school once, I saw an identical one on Ethan's wrist. He'd said shyly, "Kathy said that whatever other people have, I'll have too." Only the box was left for the limited edition model. Kathy had taken the model itself, saying she liked how it looked on my shelf. The next day, I saw it on Ethan's desk. And the limited edition sneakers from my coming-of-age ceremony, the sandalwood diffuser, all the things I thought were special just for me, Kathy had been giving out to others just as freely. Actually, it wasn't equal at all. I thought about how she doted on Ethan, how she defended him no matter what. A sarcastic smile touched my lips. If that was the case, then there was no reason to keep any of this. I booked a flight for the next day, planning to spend one last quiet night. But at 2 in the morning, a phone call woke me up. I groggily answered it, but the line was silent. Just as I was about to hang up, I heard Kathy's voice.
"Lucas, I'm sorry."
My mind instantly cleared. If she was finally going to tell me the truth. Kathy's voice was heavy. "Ethan tried to kill himself. I can't leave him alone right now, so I'll get to the transfer application in a bit." The hope that had soared in my chest crashed to the ground, pathetic and ridiculous. I suddenly wanted to ask her, "Then what about all the suffering I went through because of your fake bullying scheme?" Kathy continued, "You need to apologize." I thought I'd misheard. "What did you say?" Her voice was firm. "Lucas, you really need to apologize to Ethan. Can you honestly say his suicide attempt has nothing to do with you?" I was suddenly speechless, because I finally understood that as long as Ethan was in the picture, every word I said would be wrong. Kathy spoke again, her voice like ice. "Lucas, you're such a disappointment. If you apologize, I can pretend none of this ever happened." I'll join you at the new school in 2 months. Are you really going to be this stubborn? Are you going to throw away all our years of friendship? I heard the threat in her words. But this time, I felt no resentment, no sadness, just annoyance. I hung up, blocked her number, and deleted her contact. I couldn't wait for my flight tomorrow. The scenery in the new country felt fresh and exciting. Someone took my suitcase. I looked up and met the eyes of the daughter of the Lin family, Lucas Kane. Long time no see. I reached out my hand, smiling. Long time no see, Ava Lin. My phone rang, interrupting our reunion. I swiped to answer and saw it was Kathy's best friend's number. Confused, I answered. Kathy's voice came through, laced with anxiety. Lucas, which class are you in at Northwood? Why does everyone in every class say they've never seen you? Before I could answer, Ava's voice cut in. Lucas, should I take you to see your new school? She looked completely innocent, as if she were just being helpful. Kathy's voice shot up an octave. Lucas, are you with Ava Lin? Where are you? I held the phone away from my ear. For the first time, Kathy's voice sounded grating. What does it matter to you where I am? Kathy seemed to ignore my question, her voice filled with disbelief. You ran off to find Ava Lin just to spite me? You'd even stoop to hanging out with that kind of person just to make me mad. As her words got uglier, I couldn't take it anymore. Shut up. I took a deep breath and said, my voice sharp and final, Kathy, you're the most pathetic one of all. Finally, I'd thrown her own words back at her. Don't call me again. Whatever was between us, it's over now. I quickly hung up and blocked that number, too. The world was quiet again. I turned to Ava apologetically. Sorry you had to hear that. Ava just smiled. Then you can buy me dinner. She winked at me. Consider it a thank you gift. I breathed a sigh of relief and returned a polite smile. Of course, the heiresses of the Vance and Lin families were truly night and day. Years ago, Kathy's mother had an affair and became the new Mrs. Vance after Kathy was born. In response, Ava's mother, Mrs. Lin, acted decisively in the business world. She swiftly divorced her cheating husband, took most of the family fortune with her, and successfully left with Ava, who was already showing great promise at a young age. After that, Ava settled abroad. My mother always spoke of them with immense admiration, saying that the Vance family business had gone downhill ever since Mrs. Lin left. The prestigious Miss Vance title that Kathy was so proud of was nothing but an empty shell. Whenever my mom brought it up, she would sigh and say, but our Lucas is too soft-hearted. Of all people, he had to fall for Kathy. At the time, I felt that Kathy couldn't choose her background, and I only felt sympathy for her. I was just grateful my mother respected my choice. Only now did I realize that on some things, our parents really do see the bigger picture. The sea breeze brushed against my face, scattering my thoughts. I shook my head and looked at the road ahead, raising an eyebrow. This doesn't look like the way to a restaurant. Ava smiled. I'm under direct orders from your mother. You'll have to forgive me, Lucas. I chuckled and turned to watch the sunset blanket the wide avenue. The car, as expected, pulled up in front of a discreetly luxurious villa. Enrolling in a new school was really just a formality. Ava and I had both been raised as heirs, and before long we started receiving invitations to business events. Wearing a suit my mom had picked out, a violet pocket square folded neatly in my pocket, I mingled with a champagne flute in hand until I saw Ava. The young woman was dressed in a stunning purple couture gown that was both elegant and perfectly suited to her calm demeanor. The people around her took the hint and drifted away. I sighed helplessly. Neither of us can complain. We're both stuck in this world. That dinner, it turned out, was turned into an engagement party for me and Ava by our mother's clever remarks. We were adults, we weren't that naive. Ava and I had a silent understanding that it was just our moms joking around. We had, however, underestimated their determination to unite our families. If I received a limited edition watch from my mom, a few days later, Ava would receive the women's version of the same series from hers. Or Ava would get a pair of earrings from her mom, and when I was in a negotiation, my mom would hand me a matching pair of cufflinks. I was almost used to it, But this time, Ava looked me straight in the eye and said, word by word, what if I said that this time, I'm all for it? She took a step closer, her voice clear and smooth, like a spring running over stones, leaving a trail of mist in my heart. Or rather, every time, golden fireworks shot into the sky from the cruise ship. Looking into her bright, determined eyes, I think my heart skipped a beat. From then on, my relationship with Ava just felt right. After our engagement, my family arranged for me to do an internship at our company back home. My mom was already planning our future. You two can manage things on the inside, while your mom and I handle the outside. My dad quietly asked me to make sure Mrs. Lin didn't steal my mom away. With all these hopes, I boarded the plane home, unable to hold back a smile. As she saw me off, Ava took one of the bells from her wind chime and placed it in my palm. She had always been so poised and reserved around me, but even she couldn't resist letting the chime tell me she would miss me. After being away for months, Class 3A at Westwood Prep felt like a distant memory. When my friend Jax sent me the graduation photo I wasn't in, it felt like a lifetime ago. In the picture, Kathy and Ethan were standing side by side. They actually looked good together. My eyes scanned over their smiling faces, and I felt none of the old flutter in my heart. Jax was annoyed. We were so sad when you left, but now I think it was for the best. You have no idea. Ethan used Kathy's protection to act like a total drama queen in class all the time. After you left, he started spreading all kinds of rumors about you. The rest of us couldn't even keep up with the damage control. And that Kathy, it's like she's blind. She defended him at every turn. I mean, I get that other people don't know the whole story, but you two were friends for over a decade. How could she help him like that? I sighed and typed back. I'm sure in her mind, I'm the bad guy. I frowned slightly. I remember Ethan not being so bold before. Jax, as if finally getting a chance to vent, sent over 5 or 6 photos. Here, see for yourself. They were all screenshots of Ethan's social media posts. The first one, thanks to you, my coming-of-age ceremony wasn't as miserable as a normal person's. 2 photos were attached. One was of Kathy intently fixing his bow tie. The other looked like a group photo with classmates. But in the corner, you could accidentally see me, drenched in sweat. I thought back. Oh right, I was in charge of hosting that event for the student council. I had to give it to him. He went to a lot of trouble to capture me at my worst. The second one, she asked me to forgive her for being powerless. Next time, she said, she'll get me a new model. My girl, I'll never blame you for what arrogant people do. The photo was of a familiar limited edition model, the kind without the exclusive packaging. The third one, her restraint is always her best quality. My goddess, after the finals are over, don't let this diffuser be the only thing that helps me sleep. The picture showed a corner of a sandalwood diffuser. I skimmed through them, annoyed, until I reached the last one. My finger froze. The caption read, she said we can finally be like a real family. The picture was of Kathy, gently holding a little boy who looked to be about 3 or 4. Ethan stood beside her, his arm wrapped intimately around her shoulder, smiling blissfully. A message from Jax came through. He was always subtly putting you down on his feed, painting you as the other guy and making it seem like he and Kathy were a thing all along. Jokes on him, though, you didn't even care, ha 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 ha. I smiled. It wasn't exactly a lie. Kathy just wanted to enjoy the affection from both me and Ethan at the same time. After graduation, he made it official. I heard the kid is his son with his ex-girlfriend, Sarah. He's using the kid to keep Kathy on a tight leash now. I was shocked. He's playing for keeps, huh? Jax's tone was indignant. Yeah, everyone knows about it now. With this stepmom in training status, Ethan's gotten really arrogant. But seriously, using a kid to trap someone is so low. I bet Kathy regrets it like hell. Thanks for setting the record straight for me. I typed back. Don't worry. If anything like this happens again, I'll just get my lawyers involved. We chatted for a bit longer. Jax's last message was, good to know you're really over it. Kathy wasn't worth it. I paused, then typed, yeah, it was true. I felt nothing at all. Kathy, the girl I had once loved so sincerely, was now just a topic of idle gossip. Time really does heal all wounds. The company headquarters was in my hometown, so I drove directly to my house to pick up some files. My mom had bought a small villa with a garden to make sure I was comfortable. I pushed open the gate, but I froze when I went to enter the security code. There was someone sitting in the entryway. She turned her head, and I was met with a pair of bloodshot eyes. I frowned. "Kathy? How did you get in here?" Then I noticed her scraped knees. My frown deepened. "Did you climb the gate to get into my yard? What do you want?" The silent figure just stared at me. "Lucas, you've lost weight," she said abruptly. I had no idea what she was trying to accomplish with this bizarre small talk. I turned to leave, but she suddenly lunged forward and hugged me. So tightly it felt like she was trying to snap my arm. Luckily, the self-defense training I had wasn't just for show. I twisted away from her and wiped my arm. Disgusted. "Kathy, have some self-respect." She let out a low laugh. "You're telling me to have self-respect? Lucas Kane, you and Evelyn did God knows what while you were abroad. What right do you have to tell me to have self-respect?" She sounded like she was at her breaking point, her voice rising to a near scream. "How could you do this to me? I've been going crazy looking for you." I slapped her, not holding back in the slightest. "Watch your mouth." Seeing her refuse to give up, I thought for a moment and said calmly, "Isn't my going abroad what you wanted all along? Faking being bullied, letting me take the blame and get beat up for you. What, are you unhappy now that you got what you wanted?" The color drained from Kathy's face instantly. Her eyes widened, her pale lips trembling. You knew?" "Lucas, I can explain." I shrugged. "But I'm not interested." I took a step closer, a cruel satisfaction washing over me as I glanced at Ethan, who had suddenly appeared outside the gate. I spoke quietly, but loud enough for both of them to hear. "You've already posted a family photo with another man's child. What gives you the right to keep harassing me? Kathy, you're truly pathetic." I turned and walked into the house, calling the security guard who lived nearby to have them removed. As I passed the window, I heard a furious shout. "You bitch! You've completely humiliated me." The sharp sound of a slap was audible even through the thick, soundproof glass. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Ethan covering his face, his voice choked with sobs. I closed the curtains and sent Ava my daily text. "Busy. Miss you." I saw Kathy again at the welcome home party Jax threw for me. We were all adults now, and the conversation in our circle had shifted to family businesses and investments. The soft lighting and sweet wine made for a comfortable atmosphere. I couldn't help but stay a little longer than planned, but then an uninvited guest arrived. The room fell into a strange silence for a moment. Jax tugged on my sleeve and whispered, "Lucas." No one invited her. I nodded. I figured as much. Jax sighed in relief, his tone dripping with contempt. "Those two are basically the pests of our social circle now. Their families fallen from grace, and their personalities are trash. Especially Ethan. He looks at Kathy like she's a cash cow and is suspicious of any guy who even looks her way." I glanced over. Sure enough, Ethan was trailing behind Kathy. When he saw me looking, Ethan instinctively flinched, then shot me a fierce glare. Kathy seemed completely oblivious and walked straight to the seat across from me. As others tried to liven up the mood, I got up and headed to the restroom for some peace and quiet. A moment later, someone appeared behind me. Ethan hadn't changed at all. He still had that gentle, handsome look, a slightly melancholic expression, and a clean white shirt. A year had passed, but his mindset was still stuck in high school. He didn't seem to realize that in this world, no one cares about a damsel in distress. Profit is all that matters. He was outdated, useless. His emotional currency had been surpassed by material value, so he was discarded. It was that simple. Ethan's eyes were filled with jealousy. He looked like he wanted to tear me to shreds. "Lucas Kane, you must be so proud, watching Kathy be so devoted to you." I looked at him silently in the mirror, momentarily speechless. If shedding a few tears and saying a few sweet nothings counted as devotion, then Ethan's idea of love was pretty twisted. A series of emotions flickered across Ethan's face, and he suddenly looked triumphant. "But I bet you didn't know this. The reason you transferred high schools was because Kathy set the whole thing up. She was afraid I'd get upset seeing you. She was never even being bullied, but you took a beating for her. Ha ha ha. I remained calm because honestly it didn't matter anymore. That's right. It didn't matter. Both Kathy and Ethan would only drift further and further from my life. And I was confident that I would leave them far behind, for good. Ethan stared at me, his eyes wide with fury. What's with that reaction? Why aren't you angry? What gives you the right to be so arrogant? What right do you have? Just because you were born rich? What else do you have that I don't? You're just a loser who can't even hold on to a woman. He grew more and more agitated, raising his arm to hit me, but someone grabbed it mid-swing and threw him aside. Ava stood in front of me, looking down at Ethan on the floor. Regarding your slander and attempted assault of my fiancé, I have recorded the incident and reported it to the police. You can share your side of the story down at the station. I looked at the tall figure in front of me and couldn't help but smile. She had clearly dressed up to see me, her accessories and clothes perfectly coordinated with mine. It was childish and kind of adorable. The arrival of the police car was not subtle. Jax, wondering why I was gone so long, came out to see what the commotion was about, just in time to see Ethan being shoved into the back of a police car. He struggled wildly, screaming, "Who do you think you are? My girlfriend is Kathy Vance, the future heir of the Vance family. Let me go. I need to find my girlfriend." Everyone instinctively looked at Kathy, but as she watched the man she had once protected so fiercely get arrested, her expression was numb. She didn't make a sound. She didn't try to stop it. She knew how to save her own skin. I watched silently for a moment, and with that, the girl from my youth shattered into pieces. It was late by the time we finished giving our statements at the police station, so I just took Ava back to my place. When I opened my eyes the next morning, breakfast was already on the table. I leaned against the doorframe, watching her diligently washing the dishes. So domestic. Well, I don't have a ring on my finger yet. I have to be on my best behavior to make a good impression on my man. Otherwise, what if he gets mad and dumps me? Ava teased, tapping my nose. I sighed, thinking about the undisguised, gossipy looks my friends were giving Ava last night. I scrolled through my phone for a bit, and my eyes landed on a news headline. I laughed. You want a title? Well, here it is. The trending news headlines were in bold caps. Kane Air wrecks relationship. Kane Air's wild night with mystery woman. The two headlines were right next to each other, a neat, coordinated attack. It was a vicious attempt to ruin me, but Ethan probably didn't know that private villas usually have security cameras. Before the narrative could take hold, a video started circulating widely. In the video, the Vance heiress could be clearly seen clinging to me and lunging at me after I tried to push her away and leave. The public opinion of the Kanes shifted dramatically, but there were still plenty of doubters. So what about the wild night? You became a top executive at Kane Industries at such a young age. Who knows which big shot you were hosting? Ava acted as if registering a new social media account was a matter of life and death. I watched her scramble, amused. There's no rush. In the midst of her frantic typing, she looked up and kissed my forehead. You don't deserve to be slandered by anyone. Ding. A new notification. You have been followed by Ava Lynn. I glanced down. Whoa, it was a verified, official account. Immediately after, the Ava Lynn account posted, "Hello everyone. On behalf of Lynn Industries, I'd like to thank my future husband, at Lucas Kane, for his hospitality last night." The entire internet went silent for a second, and then it exploded. Ava looked up at me, her face a mask of innocence once again. I sighed and leaned in to kiss her. The merger between Kane Industries and Lynn Industries moved forward steadily. 3 years later, Ava and I got married. We chose a rustic little town in another country for the wedding. Every house there was adorned with colorful wind chimes. When the breeze blew, a crisp, tinkling sound would fill the air, like a chorus of sincere blessings. Toward the end of the reception, I received a gift. There was no name on it, but everyone recognized the Vance family seal. After Ava officially took over Lynn Industries, she had launched an all-out, high-intensity campaign against the Vance Corporation. If the Vance business was a crumbling tower after her father left, then after Ava was done with it, it was nothing more than a pile of rubble. Ava would never forgive the family that had betrayed her mother. I didn't hesitate to back her up. In fact, I took it even further. The Vance name had long since disappeared from our circles, because I would never forgive the people who had betrayed me, either. So, to receive a wedding gift from Kathy under these circumstances was quite surprising. When I opened the box, I found a valuable limited edition watch. A forgotten memory from when I was 18 suddenly came rushing back. It wasn't perfectly clear. It was after a practice exam, and I was helping Kathy analyze her mistakes. 18-year-old me had eyes only for her. I was explaining the problems while dreaming of a future that revolved around her. But I wasn't the only one who was distracted. Kathy was staring at me, and the sincerity in her eyes back then didn't seem fake. "Lucas, what kind of watch do you like?" The topic made both of us blush. Her voice was just as soft. "Okay, I'll remember that." The cicadas buzzed in the summer air. In that moment I thought of forever. Her company is in that state and she's still sending watches like this? That must have cost her everything she has left. It was rare for Ava to be so cutting. I looked at her, so obviously jealous, and couldn't help but laugh. "Donate it for me." I tossed the watch to her casually, because when I was 16, a purple wind chime had come into my life long before any watch. Back then, an even younger Ava hadn't cared about my family's status. She was just visiting the country to help her mother with some business and happened to see the boy next door when she returned to the Lynn estate. She happened to overhear the boy's mother say to him, "Our Lucas's favorite color is purple? That's wonderful. Purple is so elegant. It's my favorite color, too." On a whim, Ava stayed 2 extra days and had a purple wind chime sent over from abroad. In those 2 days, she witnessed the illegitimate daughter next door intentionally scrape her own arm and run to the boy for sympathy. She also witnessed the boy's growing pity and care for his sister. A seed of jealousy began to sprout in Ava's heart. The day she left, she boldly knocked on the boy's door and gave him the wind chime. She couldn't even stop herself from saying something incredibly forward. 16-year-old Lucas just stood there, not angry. He just said softly, "Have a safe trip." And from then on, his life was one of simple joy, a life with no regrets.